You know we are in preseason when you begin to see the skinny Luka photo. It's either that or Ben Simmons' workout video. Luka was seen on the cover of Men's Health magazine, visually looking to be in the best shape of his life, even skinnier than his rookie season. In the summer, Doncic really went all in on getting in shape, and it feels different this time. Right after the Lakers got knocked out of the playoffs on May 1st, Luka texted his agent saying he wanted a full reset. From that moment, he's been living in the gym. But he's not just doing random workouts like in the past years. This time, everything has been planned out and backed by science. He started with 3 days of testing: blood, urine, MRIs, ultrasounds, movement checks, you name it. The results told his personal team, a trainer, a physio, and a nutritionist, exactly how to train him and what he should eat. Cause before, this brother was eating everything. They even made him take a full month off basketball for the first time since he was a kid, just to let his body recover. Luka didn't love the idea at first, but he ended up enjoying other sports like paddle and pickleball while giving his joints a break. Now though, it's 2-a-day workouts, 6 days a week. The mornings start with a 90-minute fast session, circuits with weight, agility work, and basketball drills all in one. Then afternoons are for shooting, recovery, and resistance band exercises that focus on his stop and go moves. The goal isn't to bulk up, but to make him stronger while keeping his unique ability to slow down, change pace, and explode past defenders. His diet is just as strict. He only eats between noon and 8:30 p.m., getting in 2 big protein meals and 1 almond milk protein shake every day, around 250 grams of protein total. It's all gluten-free, low sugar, and carbs are timed around workouts so he has fuel when he needs it. So why does this feel more serious than before? Well, there's a few reasons. Luka is 26 years old now. He's pushing 30, so he's basically an unk. And he's also on a new team with the Lakers, and coming off a season where his conditioning and injuries limited him to just 50 games. He also knows the criticism is real. He's talked about looking up to legends like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, guys who sacrificed everything to stay dominant. The photos from the summer show a leaner, more defined Luka than we've ever seen. People are saying he looks almost unrecognizable. But the big question is, can he keep it up during the season? The NBA schedule is brutal, and Luka has struggled in the past to maintain his weight and conditioning once the grind starts. Men's Health didn't touch on that part, and that's why some fans are skeptical. Luka himself has admitted, if I stop now, it was all for nothing. The bottom line is, this isn't just another set of skinny Luka photos. The summer has been the most serious, data-driven, structured program of his career. It looks real. Now we wait to see if this version of Luka is here to stay once the games begin. Cause here's the thing, we've seen Luka slim down before, only for the same pattern to return. 2020, he came back heavier after a long summer. 2021, he looked fit for the Olympics, but reported to Dallas at 260 pounds. In the following seasons, his conditioning issues hurt his defense and stamina late in games, contributing to a lot of criticism towards him, especially after the 2024 NBA Finals, and with the Mavs eventually trading him. This cycle keeps repeating itself because it's about discipline during the season, not just summer workouts. Now, at the start of his NBA career, Luka wasn't exactly built like a high-flying athlete, but nobody really cared because he was already elite. The real pattern people talk about today started around the pandemic years. In both the 2021 and 2022 seasons, reports say that Luka showed up to training weighing over 260 pounds, which, to put into context, is about 30 pounds heavier than his listed 230. The issue became public in December of 2021 when TNT's Reggie Miller said live on TV that Luka was the heaviest he'd probably ever seen. Luka admitted after the game that he knows he's got to do better, and that soundbite stuck with him. Starting heavier slowed his pace and hurt his defense early in seasons, creating this idea that he was always playing into shape instead of arriving ready. The same thing happened the next season. ESPN's Tim McMahon reported that Luka came in over 260 pounds again in the 2022 season. By February and March, he dropped 15 to 20 pounds. He looked quicker, and Dallas even went on a run all the way to the Western Conference Final. Even Reggie Miller later said that coach Jason Kidd thanked him for calling Luka out because it helped push that mid-season transformation. But the success also made the cycle feel good enough like there wasn't a real need to fix the root problem, which was to show up to camp already lean. Even after that, the questions never really fully went away. In the 2023 season, there wasn't a big weight number in the headlines, but people noticed Luka's stamina and defense dropping late in games. His coach, Jason Kidd, in February 2023, made a comment about his immaturity, and Luka's constant talks with the refs were read as subtle jabs about energy use and fitness. Essentially, they were saying, how does this guy have enough energy to argue with the refs after every single call, yet not be able to come back on defense? The same concerns carried over into the 2024 season. Even during Dallas's run to the final, several national articles pointed out Luka's lack of defensive range and late game energy. The words changed from weight to conditioning, but to fans, it looked like the same old story. Then came the 2025 season, and reports said that Luka's weight spiked again into the high 260s early in the season. Some local chatter claimed that the Mavs even built time into the schedule to help him shed weight mid-year. By February of 2025, Dallas shocked the NBA by trading Luka to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. Multiple ESPN follow-ups tied part of that decision to long-term frustration over Luka's conditioning and diet discipline. While some weight figures came out from secondary outlets summarizing ESPN insiders, the main theme was pretty clear. Dallas believed this was an ongoing problem. Fast forward to July of 2025, and Luka's on a Men's Health digital cover looking super lean again. The article detailed his new plan, the intermittent fasting, high protein, low sugar, gluten-free meals, and the 2 workouts a day which focus on strength and deacceleration. Media all over the world jumped on the story, calling it the skinny Luka debut for LA. It's the same optimistic summer vibe as before. Luka's trimmed down, everybody's hyped, and then there are promises that this time the change will last. But again, we'll have to see, because when you zoom out, the pattern is obvious. 2021 and 2022, he showed up to camp 30 pounds overweight, trimmed down mid-season, played great after losing 15 to 20 pounds. In 2024, his stamina and defense were still questioned, even without public weight numbers. 2025, reports of his weight ballooning again into the high 260s, frustration builds, they trade him to the Lakers. And then summer of 2025 now, it's a new team, a new plan, and super lean Luka again. So why does this keep happening? Well, that's because summers are easy. Luka controls his training, meals, and sleep. The NBA season though is brutal. There's late games, flights, inconsistent food, and he has a long history of relying on talent over strict conditioning. This cycle is also reinforced because even when he starts heavy, he's still putting up MVP numbers. Then he trims down mid-year and still wins games. It feels like it's working, even though the questions always pop up by spring about his stamina and defense. To truly break this cycle, Luka needs to arrive lean and stay there for the first 30 games at least, and then keep strict in-season routines even when the travel gets tough. He also needs to build a tighter accountability between his personal team and the Lakers staff. Until we see him stay in his current July 2025 shape through December, the skepticism will remain. And this isn't hate, it's just based on the patterns that we've watched repeat for 5 straight years. The other thing is that the Men's Health article painted a clean story about why Luka has had conditioning problems. It basically said that early in his NBA career, he relied on the Mavs trainers and nutritionists. But then when he went back to Europe in the summer, there wasn't much guidance. Add in the crazy NBA lifestyle that I discussed, and Luka himself says, "You're never home." What I didn't like was that the piece made it sound like the weight and fitness issues weren't really his fault. It also said that since 2023, Luka has had his own full-time team, and that things have gradually gone more stable since then. But that explanation doesn't totally work when you look at what really happened. The Mavs have always invested heavily in performance and health. They've had strength coaches, medical staff, and dedicated nutrition experts for years. They've even fired or reshuffled multiple staff members in 2023 and 2025 to try and get better results for Luka. Big NBA teams don't just leave a star player guessing about his nutrition. There's a whole system around it. The problem wasn't access to the experts. It was whether Luka stuck to the program day to day. Traveling the NBA is brutal. Back-to-backs, weird tip-off times, late-night flights. It's hard for anyone to stick to a perfect diet and sleep schedule. Luka's quote about "you're never home" is real, but the reality is every star in the league deals with this. It's not just Luka Doncic, but the good players manage to stay in shape through it all. That's why a lot of fans saw this part of the article as making excuses instead of addressing the real issue, which is discipline. If guidance and travel were the only problems, the cycle should have ended once Luka hired his own team in 2023, but it didn't. ESPN reported that he came into 2 different training camps in the early 2020s at 260 plus pounds and about 30 pounds over his listed weight. And in the past season, multiple outlets said that his weight crept back into the high 260s early in the year. That's the same yo-yo pattern we've seen before. Start heavy, lose pounds mid-season, play great later on, and then come the postseason, you still look out of shape. Now, to be fair, the Men's Health article did show Luka's current setup is serious and professional, having 2-a-day workouts in Croatia, using high-tech testing like force plates and imaging, and following a strict diet. The photos of him looking shredded are legit. It's not Ozempic or AI. But even the article admitted that some of these rules, like his fasting windows, will be relaxed once the season starts. And again, that's where things have gone wrong in the past. Summer plans don't always survive the grind of an 82-game schedule. The story also suggested that Luka didn't have good role models early on. LeBron. But that's not really true either. He spent his first NBA years alongside Dirk, a guy famous for staying in elite shape into his late 30s with a meticulous professional approach. The blueprint was there if Luka wanted to follow it. That's why the pushback on this article has been strong. Nobody denies that travel is tough or that support staffs can fail, but Luka's main problem over the years hasn't been access to help. It's been keeping the same focus and habits during the season that he shows in the summer. Dallas tried different approaches. They hired new people, they built support around him, and yet the yo-yo weight pattern kept coming back. I mean, it got to a point where the Dallas Mavericks did something unthinkable. They traded the face of their franchise. That's how big the concerns were about his conditioning and commitment. Until Luka stays in his current shape all season long, blaming the Mavs or the NBA schedule feels more like a cover story than the truth. Now for Luka fans, many are hoping this is the turning point, that the pain of being traded by Dallas might finally push Luka to lock in, just like Michael Jordan did in 1990 when he transformed his body and mindset before leading the Bulls to 6 championships. People bring up MJ because his story is the classic example of an athlete getting stronger to overcome a barrier. Back in the late 80s, Jordan and the Bulls kept getting knocked around by the Detroit Pistons. Instead of just working harder, Jordan got a plan with trainer Tim Grover. He put on about 15 pounds of muscle, going from roughly 200 pounds to 215 pounds, so he could handle the physical beating in the playoffs and still stay explosive. The next season in 1991, the Bulls swept Detroit and started their championship run. Fans now call that the Jordan moment, pain leading to a reset in body and mindset, and then after that comes the breakthrough. For Luka, this summer feels like it could be his version of that moment. The pain part already happened. The February 2025 trade that sent him from Dallas to the Lakers. This was a huge wake-up call. Dallas had enough of the conditioning roller coaster. Suddenly, Luka's in a new city, under a brighter spotlight, with everyone watching. That kind of shock can flip a switch from "I'll try to fix this" to "I have to fix this." Because nobody gets into better shape than a guy who's been through heartbreak. And that's why his fitness plan has been so crazy. The guy spent 2 months training in Croatia, doing 2 sessions a day. Luka's game is about changing speeds, stopping on a dime, and creating angles. His new program focuses on eccentric work and band-resisted moves, which help with control, durability, and re-acceleration. Research even shows that this kind of training boosts power and direction changes in basketball. He's also training to have better fourth quarter defense. With a stronger frame and base, he should have the energy to contest shots, stay in front of guys, and avoid lazy reach-ins late in games. Exactly the moments where critics have hammered him before. Then you have his durability. Jordan's change, for example, wasn't just about muscle. It made him also more resilient. For Luka, this means fewer soft tissue injuries and no more playing into shape mid-season. And then his program is going to help him to not have those early season slips. In the past, Luka's weight and fitness dipped between November and January. If he looks the same at game 30 as he does on opening night, that's the biggest sign that his change is real. Because to really make this his Jordan moment, the changes have to show up when it matters the most. What's different this time are the stakes and the structure. The Lakers spotlight is massive, and Team Luka is fully built out now. Trainer, physio, nutritionist, and a data-driven plan designed for his style of play. It's not just about cutting carbs anymore. It's about training his body for what makes him great. Control, balance, and these explosive stop and starts. And they want to help him create habits that last all season. Men's Health even admitted that the plan will be modified in season because fasting windows and ideal meals are tough to keep during road trips and late flights. The honesty actually makes the approach feel more sustainable than the past perfect summers. But one thing still has to change: the in-season guardrails. Jordan's transformation worked because it held up all the way to the playoffs. Luka needs hard rules during the grind, post-game protein every night, consistent sleep, limits on sugar and junk, and tight coordination between his private team and the Lakers staff so any weight drift gets caught early. So will this really be his Jordan moment? It can be. The pain is there, the plan is there, and so is the purpose. Just like Jordan's were before the 1991 breakthrough. But Jordan's proof wasn't a photo shoot. It was sweeping Detroit and stacking titles. Luka's proof also needs to be seen on the court. He needs to look the same in December as he does in July. He needs to move the same in the fourth quarter as he does in the first. And he has to give real defensive effort even on a random Wednesday night in Memphis. If we can see that throughout the season, and if it holds up in the playoffs, then yes, people can call this his Jordan moment and mean it. Until then, the words sound good, the pictures look great, but we've got to see if it lasts. Because until Luka shows that his new habit sticks through an entire season, these skinny Luka photos don't mean much. To see just how good a prime Luka can be, you have to check out this video right here.